This is just kind of a deal that been kind of waiting on, and there's been rumors and questions and what have you. And I feel like a lot of stuff, if you stay fully transparent, it's a lot better situation, letting the public know what's kind of going on. A lot of people that know me personally talks to me all the time. I always talk about going to cut back someday, going to cut back. And with that being said, I've not only have Airtech, I have another business that deals with aircraft fabric. I've got, my cousin has a restoration shop. I've got a restoration shop, and several things going on. And it's just me and my wife running this part, and it's kind of a pretty good load. Had Airtech for 8 years, and people that know me stretch pretty thin, and I'm all in. When I say all in, I start at 6:30 in the morning, start answering my emails. I get done about 6 in the evening, then I go to my personal shop and then have to work on planes, customer stuff. It's just being stretched a little thin, and I'm always been all in, working with the customers with Airtech and, trying to cover everything. What we want to announce a little bit tonight is we've got some new guys that's been helping me, been working. They've been here for several months, kind of working with things, and kind of want to introduce them. I'm not going anywhere. This facility is at my house or across the road from my house for right now. But these new guys coming in may possibly, most likely end up being the new owners. I'm going to introduce them here in a second. They're, like I said, I'm not going anywhere. Me and my wife just made the decision that instead of me running this till I'm 70 something or whatever and then trying to find someone that wants to buy Airtech, I was approached by these guys, and I feel like a transition, over a long period of time is a lot better than throwing it in someone's lap or walking away from something, when you've got customers that you've worked with and everything. And we will make this a little bit of an announcement and introduce these guys and some background and stuff, partly for that and partly for in the public, there's always this habit of, if we made the transition just as smooth as we could, there's going to be someone out there that if you don't get the paint just right, they're going to get on social media. Well, Airtech has went to pot since Robbie left, or these guys, trying to head that off. Everyone's going to have mistakes. I make them every day around here. I forget stuff or whatever. Just trying to, if people know who they're talking to on the phone, I don't know if it's a plus or minus, but my wife will answer the phone and they got to speak to me. And I'll stop what I'm doing. I'll come over here and I'll talk to them. When it's all done, my wife will go, I could have answered that or took that order. They want to talk to me. Well, I want this big transition to where you get to know these guys and be able to talk to them. Guy down on the far right's Jacob Jones and Jesse Schmidl. I'll let them introduce themselves and we'll kind of talk about what their background is.
Yeah, I'm Jacob Jones. I grew up not far from here in Humanoak, Arkansas, and been a local my whole life. Been flying for 5 or 6 years. Been interested in airplanes for a whole lot longer than that. But 4 or 5 years ago, a friend of mine and I started a kind of a fun business that turned into a bigger business called Shady Aviation. And what we've done in the past is barnstorm essentially and find neglected airplanes or planes that folks just didn't really want to deal with anymore, and purchase those and give them a new life and find them a new owner. And we brought Jesse on over the years, and he's been working with us quite a bit as well. We're based out of Searcy, Arkansas, so not real far from here. But
and this is an example of he come through our fabric seminar, and I've always said you'll have 10 or 12 people come through the seminar, and some of them will go on and cover their own aircraft. Some of them will go home and go, I appreciate everything you've done. I got a good understanding to the point that I know I'm not going to cover my own plane. Well, Jacob and them come through the seminar, and lo and behold, they got to patching around on airplanes and this and that, and that's usually where the drug starts around here, and it just grows from there.
And I've known Robbie and his family my whole life. Went to school with his son, Grant. We were in the same class at Carlisle, and we kind of always been around each other for a long time. But Jesse, go ahead.
Yeah, my name's Jesse Schmidl. Main background has been paint, hydrographics, final decals, wrapping, that kind of. I've always had the funnest job, just get to make them look cool. Jacob and then brought me on a while back just to do some fun stuff, and I hung around, and well, here we are. And
Jesse's been the quote around here had been like drinking out of a fire hydrant, learning this stuff, and he's catching on real quick. And I've told him just slow down; he'll slowly absorb it because, But he's been catching on real good.
Yeah, it's a lot, and I'm trying to soak up as much of it as I can, and Robbie's been showing me the process and everything, and it's great, and I just want to.
I think the good fit with this situation is like I said, it's always been me doing the testing, me doing the FAA stuff, my wife doing the shipping, her doing the book work, me doing the trade shows, and and while everybody's out having their little stow contest, I'm here with my Facebook Live watching the stow contest, having to match paint on the weekend, and because I need to catch up before Monday starts. And the situation is just not these two. I know they got one other guy that's a top-notch painter. Jesse's a painter. Jacob, his main thing, he's taking on all the FAA part of this. He's going to be the FAA liaison, where I have to stop what I'm doing and record paperwork and record testing and stuff. Y'all have one of the main guys that really didn't want to be up front, but his family and his dad's been covering planes their whole life. You got another guy that's kind of involved, that's more so doing the shop work, doing the covering. So after a while, I think the tech calls, like I said, I'm not going anywhere. They're going to keep me on. But they don't just need to keep me on to do the tech calls. They need to learn the tech calls or learn the, and it's 90% questions about some problem with another system that they're repairing something, but learning it all and how to make our system work in. Like you said, you got one guy that maybe in the future everybody's going to be surprised that he's on board, that everyone knows the other guys. So they got several, and I think it's going to be a good fit to where even like at a trade show, it ain't just locked down. When I go to a trade show, it's, it starts in the morning and ends in the evening. You can't even walk away from the booth or nothing. And when one person is taking care of the FAA guy part, or I think Jesse, mainly running the main shop of the show and everything, and the warehousing, it's just a little easier because Robbie will forget. I will fool around and, next thing you know, we're trying to pack and I haven't poured up a certain product, and my wife gets on my back about it, and we're just trying to cut back a little, and I've got some other things kind of cooking. I'm never going to sit still until the Lord takes me home. I'm going to be doing something, but I'm not going to be doing it as hard as I have. And but like I said, any other things y'all got? He mentioned the Shady Aviation, but he's got some stuff going on with that, with some planes. And
yeah, we really have specialized in Citabrias and Scouts, and we've got a 170, a Ragwing 170 that we've done some work on. So that's kind of where our niche has been found over the past few years, is in those older Blanca, and we've got an American Champion Scout as well. But yeah, we've been working on those for several years at this point.
He's just saying specializing in Citabria and Scout, but they've got like 8 Scouts, and one 0390 Denali in the stable. So if you want a plane in kit form, I think you've got one that's in bare bones gray. You can pick your colors, and they're going to sell some kits. And
we've got one that's covered but not painted right now. We've got two older Scouts that are flying and ready to go, and we've got the 2021, the Denali Scout, that we're flying right now, having a good time with it. And then, like you said, we've got the gray one that's coming together. It's not real far along.
And they've created a network that not part of their company or their group. Like I said, you're most likely looking at the new owners someday of AirTech, but they've got a network of other people that's been through this seminar, that's retired, that are doing fabric work for them. So, when I bought AirTech, boy, it's a specialized deal. I never dreamed there was that many fabric shops out there that are 3 years behind. So just between them and the ones that went through the fabric seminar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fabric covering people has evolved from that. So now you've added 5. Now they may not be full restoration shops, but you do your own restoration, and you're just kind of a little apprehensive about the fabric work and stuff. Well, one of the guys or 2 of them in there may be doing all the fabric work, but he may not be doing the painting, but they got another guy that does the painting. You know, they got the high-end paint booth and everything, so
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a good fit on that.
we employed 2 IAs and a couple more AMPs without their IAs, and
Yep.
yeah,
They got an engine, got an engine guy.
engine guy. We've got a fabric guy. We've got one of our IAs has a long resume working on warbirds. We have a lot of varying experience there, and we do a lot of work.
And I just look at that as always a fit with AirTech, because I have talked to some other people that may be in restoring planes or something. They've approached me ever since the day I bought AirTech about buying it or if they ever wanted to sell it, and I've talked to them, and I just kind of let them talk what they think AirTech's about or whatever, and I can determine if it's a good fit or if it's going to cause a divorce. I mean, you know, it's just is what it is, and by having a background of a shop and everything, there's a couple other shops that if I ever was going to reach out to. It's one thing to go up and buy a building or build a building. Now you've got the overhead of that, but if you've already got a shop and you've already got this stuff and you can just blend it in and have it to where if this guy don't know the answer, this guy will know the answer. We even do that here. I'll scratch my head and be trying to figure out this problem, and 9 times out, I'm not trying to scare y'all, but 9 times out of 10, they did not follow the instructions, but they won't tell you where they didn't follow. And sometimes it gets to the point that I have to just say, well, let you talk to our other tech guy, which is Brian next door in the restoration shop. I go, Brian, give this guy a call. And Brian will get a whole different story out of him and figure out where he went wrong, but he wouldn't tell me that, you know, and you're going to, it's just part of it, you know.
Sure.
But like I said, we've been here 8 years. We built the business up. My wife, you know, things has really started kicking since about the 1st of November, about the second Tuesday. You know, things has looked up. People has just got comfortable. And my wife even asked me, said, have we made a mistake by maybe letting AirTech go? You know, it's doing better and better. And I said, no. I said, you don't want to run stuff off in the ground then try to sell it. I mean, I want you guys to take it from where I've took it and take it even further. So, you know, there's been a lot of stuff along the way. We've picked up a lot of good customers. I'm going to get these guys introduced personally to a lot of you customers that are regular AirTech guys. I want you on a personal level. I'll explain the background. You know, well, this guy started covering this, and this, you know, there's a lot of customers like that. We've grown through a lot of sponsorships, the Stowe, the Jet Wacos, the sweepstakes planes, you know, the Lakeland Aero Clubs. You know, we'll provide about every year a covering system for something. Not that we're trying to get that much, but if it's something you feel like it's a good cause, you know, you can it's always going to do a payback in the long run.
Sure.
And, you know, I work Brian Wallstrom with Experimental Channel. You know, I in the beginning, I looked and seen what he was kind of doing, and that's the way he was making his living. I said, well, hey, I'll pay so much a month, and he's really helped me along, get, you know, to know people and everything. So I think that's where y'all will just keep carrying it further. I mean, there's just so much cover work out there.
Sure.
But right now, it's getting limited to how many shops can do cover work for them. And like I said, there's a lot of shops out there that I'd like to thank, but I can't nowhere near mention them all. But there's a whole slew of them that's, you know, started using us. I never have, you know, people have approached me. You know, if y'all end up buying it, y'all can do whatever model you want with the business. My model's always been all fabric companies are the same as far as they're good. If they're done by the, you know, they're going to go out of business if they're bad.
Right.
And people's asked me, why didn't you talk yours up, you know, that it's the best? I go, well, I bought the company. That ought to tell you something. But a Superflight system, any of the Polyfiber systems, the Stewart system, they all have their own niche, their own way of doing things. And I've never talked down another company, but, you know, I've told this story before. I've been on the phone and talked 30 minutes helping someone through a problem and hang the phone up, and it would be another company's problem. My wife will go, you burned 30 minutes telling them how XYZ goes together on another company. I go, yeah, but before I hung up, he said he's got another plane that he's going to do, and he's going to call me. So, you know, we picked up a lot of good customers that way. Like I said, the Patriot aircraft, Don and them use our product. That ain't mean they're not going to use something else too, but, they become good friends. Like I said, Brian next door, Central Arkansas Aircraft, he does whatever the customer wants, but 99% because he's 8 foot across the way here.
Right.
You got Bruce Beard, you got Dave Bishop, Jeff Rose, Jabron, the Mall Company. I mean, there's just to go on and on that it slowly got more and more, and that's why I want to get these guys introduced to y'all and for your new guys and stuff to be comfortable. I think we got comments and stuff maybe open. I don't know what all's going on.
Yeah, so Jeff said he's happy that AirTech's going to remain in the future. It's a big sigh of relief. He also requested both of your guys' personal cell phone numbers. Jeff Rose. Bruce Beard said, what's your feedback on the new style paint? For me, it's much easier to deal with.
Yeah,
So, if you want to talk about
the guy that I bought AirTech from, I told him that, we literally had our mix primer made at a company, and they got bought out. I'll tell you, they got bought out by Axalta, which means a bean counter come through and went, we're not doing small stuff no more. And our paint always was made for us. And I had to start searching, and it took me a year, and I hired a chemist to help me with it, and we mixed matched some stuff, and Mac always wanted to go to a smaller company to have control. Well, when COVID hit, I couldn't go somewhere else and fill the spot. It was the only thing, and they couldn't get chemicals. So I went to the biggest. I went to PPG. I went to Axalta, and they wouldn't return my calls. I'm sorry. But I went to PPG, and I said, here's the pigment line I want to work with. And my chemist talking with them, let's line it up with this hardeners. Let's line them up with this. It's a little different mix, but we've had it for a year and 2 months. And I'm going to say that most people tell me that they think it lays better and actually paints a little easier than our other system. Our other system was an easy system, but when you had to paint vertical, you had to be on top of it. So that's the whole deal with the new system. Paints real well.
Right.
And so far, that's what we've come up with.
new guys coming to Arkansas? Swamp Stall?
Yeah, we're planning to come to Swamp Stoll. We haven't made out our complete list of what we're planning to go to yet, but yeah, Swamp Stoll's on the radar. We're planning to go to Sun and Fun, Oshkosh as well. But yeah, I've been personally to Swamp Stoll a few times, taking some of our Shady Aviation planes down there, and yeah, that's one that we plan on making.
Yeah, we'll have the same booth that Sun and Fun, and me and Kelly will be there too and everything, so that'll all be just a transition.
Yep. So
Mike Porter mentioned he only uses AirTech on his Stearmans, and then Sarah Westfall asked if the location's going to be changing to Searcy.
No, not right now. We're going to run everything from right here. That ain't to say that it will happen at some point,
Yeah. So far, from a questions perspective, that takes care of it.
Yep, someone asked me today, we talked about what I were going to do, I said, well, I'm not going to still be helping here and going to go, I'm always got ideas, and I've had so many people approach me. I'm going to actually start a little bit of a builder assist, kind of working with Jabron right now, not with them, but with Jabron builders and stuff, and I don't think I have to advertise. I kind of made that little mention, and I got two already in the shop. I got to be careful not to turn that into work, But that's kind of the way it's going to be. And we cut tapes for some other companies, fabric tapes, and for AirTech, and so still be involved with that. So, and we never done, these guys was real nervous about. The first time I remember doing the Fabric Tip Friday with Kelly, nervous, and I had a cheat sheet tonight, make sure I didn't forget something, but. I was like, well, first video, y'all are live. I said, now I'll be down here from now.
One big blooper reel.
Yep. And they're going to have all content to all of our old videos and stuff, and they'll be, continuing on. And like I mentioned before, Kelly's helped me from day one, technical side and computer side stuff and social media and everything. So,
Mike Porter said he looks forward to seeing you guys at Oshkosh.
Yes,
Absolutely.
we will be there.
Well, that probably winds it up. There's not another question or anything. And he'll post this stuff to where it can be seen later. And y'all feel free to call or anything if y'all have questions. You probably over the next week or two, we're going to start melding into. They'll be the ones answering the phone. and like I said, I'll be right. You know, I'm across the driveways where I live, so I can't get away from it. So I think that's about got it. Appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.